This is Jess with Local Music Somewhere, and you're listening to rBeatz Radio. Hey guys, it's Jess with rBeatz Radio. Welcome back to Local Music Somewhere. Today we've got Xander and Zach in the house, all right? Nice to have you guys here.
It's great to be here.
Yeah, good to be here.
Great. So tell us about your group and your music. You know, what do you guys going by, and what kind of music are we doing here?
So right now, it's just him and I, and our official name is Cloud Zero. We've had a few bands in the past, but as things go, you know, we grow apart. Yeah. And so, you know, we have people on different paths musically as well as geographically. You know, we have people who are moving to like Utah, who we've worked with before. So right now, we're going by Cloud Zero, and yeah, what you've heard from that, if you've heard any of it.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. So, like, and that's kind of a rock base, you know, but what are the influences for this specific band that you guys are doing?
I would say for me, a lot of it stems from like a classic rock influence, because I've kind of grown up listening to, I'm sure Zane can say the same thing, listening to a lot of like classic rock and that type of genre of music. But then we also like getting into like alternative stuff. So one cool thing is like throughout the years, Zane and I have always kind of done music together, but Cloud Zero is kind of this idea that this band that we formed that basically allows us to kind of do what we want to musically and kind of express ourselves however we want. So we have an influence of like classic rock, alternative, those are the main two, I guess you could say, but it allows us to kind of branch off and do other things, because in bands past we've gone more of like a really stricter route with like whatever genre we're doing. But with Cloud Zero, we can kind of have the freedom to move around and do what we want. So
that's great. I heard that you guys have been playing together since you were like 10. Is that right? Or like, you know, what was that? When did you pick up the instruments? I mean, that's young, and you guys are really only, what, 18 now?
We're 20.
20? 20?
Yeah, 21 and 20.
21 and 20. Okay. So yeah, tell me the beginnings of this. Like, what got you hooked?
So I'll let you speak for yourself. But so for me, my dad has been a drummer his whole life. Oh. And when I was a kid, I learned how to play kind of, and I was into rhythm stuff, but I never really loved playing the drums. But I thought guitar was super cool. Yeah. So whenever me and my dad were listening to the radio, like the guitar solo would come on, and then I would be like playing air guitar and he'd be drumming on the steering wheel. And so how I started was in probably 2018, my friend, who we're no longer in a band with, but he wanted to start a band. And so he was like, I know you kind of play drums, you can do that. And I was like, all right, well, I'll give it a shot. So we did that for a few weeks, but drums just wasn't my thing. And then one day we went to Guitar Center, and I picked up a bass guitar, which I had never played before. I really didn't know much about bass. Yeah. And so I picked one up and fell in love with it like immediately. Yeah. And then I learned later that bass is like a perfect combo of rhythm and melody. So it's like, I grew up with drum influence, but I loved guitar, and then I found bass, which is like a combo of both. So I started playing bass. I moved to acoustic and electric guitar and played those as well. I played a little piano, but not nearly as much, but that's when I started musically. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Kind of somewhat similar for me. I started, I've been playing music pretty much my whole life. A lot of my family members on my dad's side of the family are all musical, so we've all played by ear. And so I've kind of had that passed down, but I initially started with drums. I've been playing drums since I was 3 or 4 years old. Just grew up in like a church setting, so I'd go and I'd play at different churches and play with my family and different things, family get-togethers, jam sessions, that type of thing. And then I slowly transitioned into learning other instruments. I learned guitar and piano over the years and just kind of picked stuff up wherever I could and playing by ear. But yeah, Zan and I met each other probably when we were, 6 or 7 years old.
I think I was 7 and you were 8.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Pennsylvania. Okay. And so my family moved down here when I was just, I think, turning 6 years old. And so then we both were homeschooled our whole lives. So we got to meet each other through that and kind of got connected through that. And then we kind of just grew up together and became best friends. And then I remember Zan like developed his love and passion for music along the same time that I did. And so we kind of throughout the years have gone back and forth with different bands and working with each other, and now we've kind of landed on something that we enjoy doing together. But that's kind of how we kind of got started initially, just humble beginnings, I guess. But
so when did you realize you wanted to kind of make songs rather than just playing them, you know?
So for me, around the time of that first band that I was talking about back in 2018, my friend Jackson was really into Metallica. Okay. And so he wanted to start kind of like a hard rock metal band, probably more along the lines of hard rock, less like sad and more happy stuff. Yeah. So we started writing with him. After I switched to bass, I was like, I have a friend who's really good on drums, him. And so we kind of all came together and we wrote a whole instrumental album basically without lyrics. And then after that, we kind of grew apart. So really when we started writing music was back in like the early high school years. But then when we started getting into like writing, lyrics and melodies and stuff was the second band that we were in. And then when that dissolved, now it's just me and him, and we can write anything. So lyrics, electronic stuff on the computer as well as instruments as well. That's when we feel creatively the most comfortable is with each other, because we can just do whatever we want and we kind of agree on a lot of stuff.
That's great.
I would say too, like I think there definitely came a point when we started getting deeper and deeper into music and really playing with each other, and just jamming out and playing. There came a point where like playing covers just wasn't good enough. Like it was like, this is fun and this is cool, but especially for me, because I grew up playing by ear, and so I can remember when I was younger, like taking piano lessons, and I would always change the music to where I think it should sound like. And my piano teacher would always get upset at me for doing stuff like that. She was like, "You can't play this way. That's not how Bach wrote it."
No rules. Okay?
But I think just some of that, but also just us playing with each other and building off of each other and like just vibing with each other a lot, we realized that like we have a lot more potential that we need to like channel into an avenue. And so that's when we were like really started writing, and we realized that like the possibilities of what we could do when we started writing. So then whenever we get together and jam, instead of just playing covers, initially it started with just covers, like most bands do. Like we'll get together, we'll learn a couple songs, we'll practice them, we'll jam out. But once we kind of got tired of that, we're like, okay, let's start like taking what we know, since we kind of both play by ear now, regardless. We're like, let's take what we know, let's just come up with some stuff and put lyrics over it. And so then it's just kind of flourished into what we have now. So
where are you gigging out right now? Like I heard about a gig that maybe fell through. Citadel? What was the deal with that?
So we were really excited for that, and we were kind of disappointed when it didn't work out. But we, through school, we haven't had a lot of time to work on music together, so we haven't released stuff in a while. But we got together with these two guys at the Citadel, and they play guitar, and they're really good, and they haven't been playing for that long either. So it was really nice to play with somebody who we felt like we were like having to catch up to them, because they were really good. So it was like a challenge for us. And so we were playing one day. They were like, "Hey, do you guys want to come jam?" And so we showed up and we just played whatever, and then somebody peeks behind the curtains and they're like, "Hey, you guys sound really good. Do you want to play at a tailgating event?" And we were like, "Sure." So we don't even have like an official band name, and we're just like jamming out, and then all of a sudden we get this opportunity. So we were just going to go do this like one-time event at a tailgating party, and then I think one of the coordinators at the Citadel shut it down like the week of the weekend that we were supposed to play. No. And so we were like, but we were really excited to, and we've thought about, what's the thing on King Street, I think, that
Second Sunday, I think it's called.
It's called Second Sunday. And so we've been talking about doing that. But after we didn't get to do that last semester, we haven't really been with them, because we're up here and they're down in Charleston.
Oh, okay.
So, that could be a future goal. We'd love to. But we haven't talked to them since then. So
that's kind of what's been the biggest challenge, is what you said in the beginning, is going to school and like pursuing like our academics. Is like we don't really have a whole lot of time, I guess you could say, because so we started initially Cloud Zero, and we were like full steam ahead. We're going to release our first song. We wrote it, we recorded it, we mixed it, mastered it, got it all out over, I think it was the end of the summer before we went to school. So we had just graduated. We got that song out, and then we went to college and started pursuing our studies there. And we kind of took a break from it for that year while we were at school, and then we came back the next summer. We're like, all right, let's do this again. We got some free time, so we started working on another song, and we were able to do that, and got another single out. But the biggest challenge with gigging, at least, is being at school, not having a whole lot of time to put into put into it and to trying to go out and search for places and get things scheduled. I know it's definitely a goal probably, and we definitely want to put more time into it in the future. It's just been a struggle recently over the past couple of years, but.
Well, you seem really driven, because I mean, I've got word of some scholarship winnings and some Chi National Honor Society chapter things. So you guys are, obviously achieving in the academic realm, and, you seem like you really got the Jones for the music going on here. So, I mean, I expect nothing but good things. Do you kind of have a blackout time where you really want to like get, a next kind of album or EP done, or, any plans for that?
We don't really have a roadmap per se right now, but I think one really cool thing that we started doing at school is connecting with other musicians. And so we got to meet those guys at Citadel. We got to meet people that we can really just jam out with. And so I think that's going to kind of morph that's going to be the next avenue that we go down, whether it be we keep the name Cloud Zero and we all get together with them and record music next semester, beginning next summer. I'm really not sure what the future holds. It's really all in the Lord's hands at this point, but we're just kind of, I guess, excited to see what's going to happen. Right. I wouldn't say sometimes for me, it can be easy to get in the headspace of oh, we haven't done something in so long. Are we ever going to do it again? Mm-hmm. I don't want to drop it. But I think it's more exciting to look in the future and be I'm excited for what we're going to be able to do in the future. We're definitely not done by any means. It's just a matter of when, not if, I guess. Right. So it will happen in the future. Just not sure when, but hopefully soon.
And I would say one new thing that is current, that's not so much us, is his brother Tyler. Actually, he is in high school and he has a ton of time, and he spends almost all of his free time just making music on his computer. And when he first got Logic, the software on Apple, he was asking me how do you do this? How do you do that? And I was like, you do it like this. And so he got into it 3 years ago, and he started making his own stuff, and he's gotten so good at it to where now I'm like, dude, how do you do that? And so recently the stuff that I've been working on, well, I guess not really me, but Tyler, is he'll make a song and he'll be like, hey, I'd love to have you on this song. And so we have one on Spotify now. His brother Tyler has released an album, I think. It might be an EP, several singles, and he's working on another EP right now that I think is almost fully mastered. Wow. So him and I have one song already out called Nothing Better. His name on Spotify is Tyler. It's just all caps with a period after it. And so Nothing Better is one that I appear on, and then we're working on one right now. And so one thing that we were thinking about doing in the future is the hardest part really of getting music out is getting it into a software and handling all of that. Because him and I, we can sit down and we can write a verse and a chorus in 2 minutes that's worthy of being a rough draft for a song. And so the easiest part for us is just the music itself. Yeah. The technology part is the part that takes a lot of time. Yes. So what we've talked about recently is maybe over the summer or, maybe over winter break even, any time that we feel like is a natural time to write, we could get together with his brother and have his brother make a song for us that we write, and then we can just show up, sing it, and let him do all the technical part.
Basically be our producer in a sense. My little brother's gonna be our producer. Yeah.
So where did the name Cloud Zero come from? Tell me.
Do you remember?
Oh gosh. Well, I think it was at a time where we had just gotten done with one of our other bands, and we knew we wanted to get together ourselves, and so we're like, we need a band name. We need to come up with one quick if we're going to start writing, blah blah blah. And so I think I was just one night I was thinking about, I knew we wanted to do something with clouds and lightning or something along those lines, because we both thought that was pretty cool. Whenever we would brainstorm, that would be the one thing that we would come up with, something that has to do with clouds or rain or lightning or something. And so I was thinking, well, I think I was one night I was just kind of brainstorming, and it was okay, well, what is when you're really happy, what do you think of, what are you feeling emotion wise? Because when I was doing a lot of my writing back then, it was stemming out of a lot of deep places of emotion, obviously. And so I was well, when someone's really happy, they say they're on cloud 9. So I was what's the opposite of being on cloud 9? If we're going to be writing some sad songs, some sad music, because that's kind of a lot of what we've written over the years, I was well, cloud 0 is kind of the opposite of cloud 9, and I think that's pretty cool. So we just stuck with that, and it's been that ever since. But that's kind of how it originated.
That's so great. Well, I am so excited to hear you guys play. Like I said, I've listened to your stuff, and I find it really refreshing, you know, with the bringing in your influences of classic rock. I feel like I don't really hear a lot of new things coming out in that kind of way. And I know you're super talented musicians, so I think what we would love to do is have you guys play us a little something in the studio. You guys feeling ready for that?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
We're Cloud Zero, and this song is called Lost at Sea. All I long for, all I adore, I can't ask for more. Running from the past, will I even last? A ship with a broken mast. All this time gone by, will you please be mine? Before we leave this dock, tell me we'll have time. I'm setting sail, and I'm letting go to all these hopes and dreams now covered in snow. I'm moving forward, not looking back. Take me, please. Say a picture's worth 1,000 words, but I can't ever see how you'll come back to me. So pull up the anchor, tighten the sails, board up these walls with the rusty old nails. Here comes our journey, decide if you might continue with us or bid us goodnight. Not much you can hear, just all the same sound. 'Cause I can't see right now, blocked by this cloud. I'm setting sail, and I'm letting go to all these hopes and dreams now covered in snow. I'm moving forward, not looking back. Take me, please. Say a picture's worth 1,000 words, but I can't seem to see how you'll come back to me. And all I feel is all the time that I could steal. Beautiful is what you are. Sail with me, girl, we'll go far. And all I see and all I feel is all the time that I could steal. Beautiful is what you are. Sail with me, girl, we'll go far. I'm setting sail, and I'm letting go to all these hopes and dreams now covered in snow. I'm moving forth, not looking back. Take me, please. Say a picture's worth 1,000 words, but I can't seem to get past all this hurt. Thank you.
sounded good.
It really does.
It sounded good.
I love the
Good
the tender voice for this particular song, and then you got your open. I love the open string stuff with the.
I was a sucker for that back in the day.
Yeah, right. I
like,
feel like I know. I was kind of reminded of like with Tom Petty. He does a lot of the open stuff, and then doubles and triples, all those tracks. It's really great. Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that with us. That's amazing. I love the lyrics.
I really love the story of this song. So this is, I give all the credit to Zach for this one. Because, it was really an interesting time in our lives because we knew a lot of people and it was a big change, you know? So there were some people in our lives who we were like chasing after in a way. And it was like this time of uncertainty of like, would we end up with that person or would things not work out? And at the same time, this was at the end of high school. So we were about to move to Charleston away from our families. And this is like the first time that we're going to be on our own in a different city. And so he got this guitar from, he didn't bring it with him, but he got this guitar as a, what was it?
Graduation gift.
Yeah, as a graduation gift. And one of my favorite bass players says that the instruments that you get have songs in them and it's your job to bring them out. Oh, wow. And so I feel like this song was in the guitar and it just kind of came to him. And so we were up in Pennsylvania visiting his cousins over summer for fun. And he shows me this song and I was like, dude, like this is a good song. And so we were sleeping in an RV because, you know, we were all up there and there was only one house. So I think it was me.
We rented a room
him,
or something. Yeah.
Yeah. It was me, him and Tyler sleeping in this RV. And I had just gotten Logic the Christmas before on my Mac.
Little MacBook Pro.
Yeah, the MacBook Pro, like a 2013 MacBook Pro. Yeah. And we had an audio interface and a microphone. And that's all we had.
That was it, yeah.
Wow.
And so we got in this RV and I'm like, all right, go for it. And so he just plays the whole guitar track. We play it twice. He sings it. He's actually the voice on the original cut. And then we did it backward because we played guitar first and then we put the drums in afterward. And the bass in afterward as well. But he's got tons of rhythm. He's got the highest rhythmic IQ.
I was going to say, did you use the click track or no?
We did use a click track.
We did?
Sure. I think so.
I think we probably had to on that. Yeah.
But all the drums came afterward. And so we wrote it he wrote it, we recorded it in the RV, and then over the next few days, I put down the drums and the bass and a few atmospheric things, like there's bells at the beginning of the song that was actually, I think, your idea. And so what happened was we wrote this song about people, and then it ended up being about a concept. And so we released this song as we're going to school, and it's like, it's more of like the people in our lives now rather than people who aren't in our lives, and we're moving away from them. And so it's like this longing for them in this like, you know, place of uncertainty and like being alone. Yeah. And so the song just, it had one meaning, and then it like became this whole like mindset that I went to school with for the first time. And it just like, it was really beautiful, and it came together in a way that was really unexpected. And I don't even know if we were planning to release it, but it was so good. We were like, we have to release it. And so that's basically the story of how it came together.
That was kind of the start of Cloud Zero. We kind of, that was the first song we did. But before we did that, we kind of knew we wanted to start writing with each other. But then that song just kind of came to me. It was at the heart of it. This song is a breakup song, but it moved more or a heartbreak song, I guess you could say. It's a heartbreak song, but it moved from being heartbroken for like different people in our lives to being heartbroken at like leaving our family and going off to school and entering like basically this next journey in our lives of like basically uncertainty and not knowing what's going to happen. You know, I'm setting sail and letting go. Like, I don't know what the future holds.
Lost at sea.
Exactly. So basically being lost at sea, and this is a time where we're trying to like deal with our emotions, like everything. So we basically did that. And once that kind of came to me, and then we started writing it and releasing it, we were like, we got to actually like make this official. We're going to call ourselves a band. Let's do this, release it, be done with it. So we did it. And that song kind of started Cloud Zero, I guess you could say, and the whole concept. Yeah.
You guys must have a pretty supportive family system here. I'm hearing graduation present, guitar and things like that. Like I was lucky enough to have the kind of a similar situation. So are your families just like, super supportive, or how's that working?
Yeah. Well, my family's super supportive.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, like I grew up around music. My whole family's pretty much musical, mainly on my dad's side. But my brothers and I, we've all done music. I have two younger twin brothers. One of them plays violin, one of them plays cello. But then Tyler, my one brother, he started producing and doing all the stuff on his own. So all he does, he lives and breathes music.
Yeah.
He loves doing it. And so through everything we've done, different bands together, whatever it may be, they've been super supportive, and they're super excited to see, what the future holds and everything.
Yeah.
So
it's definitely a huge blessing having family that like want to hear the music, and they're like, this is great, like you got to show this to people, and we're like, all right. So it's really it's a blessing.
It's a good thing you guys have going, and really appreciate you taking the time to come in today, and I'm so happy to have met you, and we'll make sure to link all the music and all your socials and things like that. Is there anything you'd like to tell our listeners before we close out tonight?
I would say definitely be on the lookout for stuff in the future, even though it has been a minute since we've done a song. We're not done. I think that's one thing Zan and I have discovered through our journey together with music is like really doesn't matter how long of a break we take. We always end up coming back together somehow. And so, I think this is going to be something, Cloud Zero, the concept itself, our band itself, I think it's going to be something that's going to continue into our old age, and just us being two old dudes getting together and jamming out and playing music. So, so I would say just be on the lookout for music, and it'll be coming down the pipeline in the future.
Nice. Yeah. Well, thanks. You guys are great. Thank you so much again for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us on.
All right, no worries. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. I'm Jess with rBeatz Radio. This is Local Music Somewhere, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks as always for tuning into rBeatz Radio. Search for more local music somewhere on rbeatz.com, and follow our social media for highlighted artists as we travel with #LocalMusicSomewhere.